By the way, congratulations on your book, which is,
Thank
I've really
you.
enjoyed looking through it and reading, and I've learned a lot about sort of how to make my life healthier, because that's something that I care a lot about. But before we get to the book, I know that you started focusing on health because you really had no choice. When you were a little girl, you had a lot of health issues, right?
I did, yeah. I was actually quite sick as a kid. I had severe asthma and allergies. My throat closed a couple of times from having asthma attacks before I was 5 years old.
Wow, and you even had to be hospitalized, didn't you?
I was hospitalized several times. Like, basically any cold I got went straight to pneumonia. And my parents, I think like most people, had no idea that the environment could even have an impact on our health or on my health. And it really wasn't until I did a TV show in Australia and I met a naturopath, and it was this doctor who specializes in natural medicine and homeopathy, and she introduced me to all of these natural ways to combat my illness without having to take all of this medicine, and just to eliminate like dairy and like refined sugars and refined flour, and just to have more whole foods in my diet. If it's organic and if it's not processed, highly processed, I'm not allergic to it. Who knew?
Yeah.
So who knew it was probably just the pesticides I was allergic to.
Yeah.
And now that I eat, stuff without pesticides, I have such a much more exciting life.
and I know that you started to focus on this even more when you became pregnant with your daughter, Honor.
Yes, she inspired me to create the Honest Company, and so the company was named after her as well.
Well, obviously when you were expecting a baby, you started being even more hyper aware of all these things kind of in our environment. Tell me some of the things, Jessica, that you started learning about and that you became concerned about.
Well, my mother, of course, when you're pregnant, your mother gives you lots of advice, and you should take it. Mothers do know best. And so she told me I needed to use this laundry detergent that was special for babies. I did it, and I had an allergic reaction to the laundry detergent. And when I was folding my baby, the laundry, I started getting welts. And I was like, how is this safe for babies? I'm having an allergic reaction. That's crazy.
And so you really started to search for products that you thought would be
more
pure
exactly.
and healthier
and natural
for your baby. And you really had a hard time finding them.
It was very difficult because I felt like, okay, if I spent more money on it, and if it had a green leaf on it or it was brown, obviously it was better. And then I'd find out that the packaging was what made it eco-friendly. It wasn't what was inside. The other thing is I just felt like there was such a social injustice that only people who are in the highest tax bracket could afford a higher quality life and a better life for their family. And so our company is honest.com. We're online. We go direct to our customers so we can make our prices more affordable.
In the book, you really talk about so many different things. I mean, from men's grooming to entertaining to facial scrubs, which are coffee and yogurt and a little bit of lemon juice. And I was like, that's a good idea because obviously a lot less expensive than the things you buy. You also have some easy, quick things in the book. This is really good advice, and something I've been doing is, we all want to eat more whole grains. And you say make a big bowl of whole grains on Sunday, and then you can kind of use them throughout the week. You can use them, you can throw them
in salads.
In salads, or you can throw some butternut squash and other vegetables in them, and nuts and things like that. It's just a really great, convenient thing. And you introduce us. I know about some of these grains because I eat like quinoa. My daughter's a vegetarian, and that particular grain is high in protein.
It is.
So she eats quinoa a lot. But there are all sorts of other...
Like farro and barley. And I mean, I was intimidated by it, but then when I realized how convenient and awesome it was to cook, a great whole grain and some legumes,
and just have them in the fridge.
And have them in the fridge, and then you can basically like zhuzh up any meal with a handful of this or a handful of that.
They definitely zhuzh up any meal. All right, let's talk about some of the other things that, Jessica, you said quick things you can do to change your home and make it really healthier and pure. One of those things is take off your shoes right by the door so you don't track in all sorts of things.
Right.
Tell us what's on the bottom of your feet.
I mean, think about all the petrochemicals that are, tar, lead dust, sewage, and imagine everything else, dog stuff and everything else that's on the ground that you're walking through all day long, and then you track that into your home. And then when you walk around, it gets up into the air and you breathe it in. I didn't know that inside a home was actually more toxic and more hazardous the air you're breathing and more polluted inside your home than outside.
And that's why you say
open
keep
the
your windows open.
I was like, how is that even possible? Like, what's going on? But it's the off-gassing, because most cushions are made from petrochemicals, and so they're constantly off-gassing. And then they spray all the material because it's so flammable with flame retardants, which is another toxic chemical, formaldehyde. And so that's all off-gassing inside your house all the time. And so if you open some windows, it kind of airs it out a bit.
You also say about mattress covers. You know,
Yes.
you should get allergen-protected mattress covers if you
Yes.
can.
I mean, think about how much time you're spending, you know, in bed sleeping. Hopefully you're spending more time than I am. I wish I had more than 6 hours of sleep these days. But my babies especially, you know, they do sleep 12 hours a night, and that's constantly off-gassing if you don't have a natural mattress. So just put an allergen cover on your mattress, and it'll lock in a lot of the off-gassing.
And I think what's good about this book is it's not so crazy. Like, you have to become a vegan.
No.
You have to grow your own vegetables.
No, it's like take your shoes off at the door, maybe put a cover around your mattress, open some windows.
They're all very doable
you know, it's
things
like, there's
without them being too extreme.
Right.